Hello, YouTube. This is Ewan Spence and ESC Insight calling. Time for some more song reviews. Let's head to Iceland. Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome once more to ESC Insight's Adventures in Using YouTube. We have Jukebox Jury. It goes on for a ridiculous amount of time, 47 minutes per episode, as we look through 5 of the songs in the Eurovision Song Contest. You can listen to that podcast and our news and interviews and everything else, www.escinsight.com. But we've lifted out those reviews and we're going to be putting them up singly here on YouTube. And as I said at the top of the show there, we're going to have Iceland's entry today. Matt Baker and Dupont are going to join me to talk about the song Power from Diljá. Dude.
I think Power is a fun song, but it actually reminds me a lot of Iceland's, I think, 2017 entry, Paper by Svala, where you have two blonde women with big voices in big pantsuits, oversized pantsuits, just belting it out on stage. This one's a little more upbeat and poppy. I appreciate that it's a good breakup anthem, but it's kind of mid of the pack for me this year.
Yeah, I think there's a drop there, isn't there? I think, the song puts me in mind of early Becky Hill. So if those who don't know, it's a UK vocalist. She's won 2 Brit Awards, a dance vocalist. And so that drum and bass beat puts me in mind of some of her early stuff. And I think it goes down well in a big hall. There's lots of white space in between sort of the vocal in this. And the problem I have with that is that she's doing lots of filler movements on stage. She's kicking the air, she's travelling around the stage, which I think is all great, trying to build up interest of what's going on stage during these white space moments. And I feel like that's not quite working as it is from that national final performance. Put her on the Eurovision stage, much bigger stage. It's going to need slightly choreo sort of being put into that to make it more visually interesting, which I do think is a point that needs to be erased, because semi-final 2 has lots of energy and visual potential. I'm worried it will get lost. So, especially in the year that it's a televote only qualification, I worry a little bit about that for this.
I was also a concern, if you go back and look at Svala's performance in Paper, which I did recently, she's very static on stage and kind of relies on the screens to do everything, but do kind of feel that restriction is sitting in here with Diljá as well. For me, I think the song just, the first 60 seconds, it's like 3 different styles of song trying to work out where it wants to be. You're starting off with a song that just to me is typified by a mournful woman sitting down with her legs tucked underneath her, just going, I've got to be sad until I reach the jury note. And then the jury note kicks in and it's you hold no power over me, which, by the way, is a fantastic lyric. I love the idea behind that. And all of a sudden it changes. And then you have the dance beat coming in again. And that lovely sort of twisting should appeal to me. Each of those elements is so comfy that the whole thing, when it comes to the end of it, just doesn't, it feels like there's another gear in this song. And I think, dude, that's what I was trying to say about their big moments. Yeah, there are rises, there are falls, there are peaks, and there are troughs, but I want those peaks to be peakier. I want those troughs to be troughier. I want to feel the roller coaster of the emotions that Diljá is going through here.
And if it weren't in English from the Icelandic version, you wouldn't pick that up. You wouldn't pick up the things about Power. For me, the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, this sounds like a fun and poppy song, not knowing what the lyrics were about. And I don't think switching it into English and adding that kind of comprehension adds anything to the song necessarily. Yeah.
I will say, though, there is something about the theme of the song and this, the jumping around. She's jumping around stage and it's like it's a freedom. It's letting go of someone who may or may not have been toxic. I love that side of it. I think that's stuff they could lean into, choreograph that more, maybe think about what we're seeing through the square of this TV screen, and maybe there's something you could do with that.
It's a good point, because she's a solo performer. Is she going to get lost on the big stage if it's just her and her kind of enthusiasm and an oversized suit? I think she might. So it definitely needs something else.
Yeah, and I think that's going to come with the visual element. I think the song's there, her vocal's the vocal. It's okay. But it's how are we going to present this? Because, and this is the thing, Iceland, it's a smaller national final, so it's a small stage. They did what they had to do, but you've got quite an experienced head of delegation for Iceland who will control things a little bit, and so you'd think that when they translate it to the big stage of Eurovision, they would have the expertise like, well, okay, well, let's start again. What can we do? I'm hoping that's the case with them.
If this makes it through the final on Saturday night, I am guessing that on Twitter there's going to be a lot of pick up a penguin jokes. In my house, where I do live with a British person, the pick up a penguin has been sung to the tune of Power over and over again. So I have that slight personal thing against the song.
For our international listeners, penguins are a bit like Tim Tams.
That's not narrowing it down, Ewan. That's not helping.
Yes, it is. It's helping. All right, then. Who's going to go with the hit miss maybe first on this one? Dude?
Maybe.
Matt?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's a miss.
Why are you sorry? I mean, I'm going to give it a miss as well, so you're not alone. But why are you sorry, Matt?
Because I love Iceland. Honestly, I want them to win. I want to go and have an Icelandic Eurovision. I think that I've always impressed by the song quality of their national final, given their relative size. I can't give it anything more. I'm sorry.
It's a miss from you, Matt. And I'm going to hand it a miss as well, as I said there, Matt. It needs more variance for me. That's always been my personal opinion. I love my songs to have more variance rather than get up to the beat, stay steady. And that's a personal opinion. That doesn't make the song bad. It's just that it doesn't click with me. Everybody enjoys a different song at the song contest. And that, I think, is why we all love it.
Absolutely.
100% agree.
Our review there of Iceland's entry to Liverpool in the Eurovision Song Contest 2023. It's part of the Jukebox Jury podcast, so you can listen to the full episode and all of our other audio. Visit www.escinsight.com or search for ESC Insight in your favourite podcast app, player, software or directory as appropriate. So we'll catch you back here for the next video, and if not, we'll catch you on the podcast. Ta-ra for now. You've been listening to the highlights of Jukebox Jury as we preview the Eurovision Song Contest 2023. Find out more and listen to our podcast, www.escinsight.com.